Onion Cycles podcast is about thought provoking, emotion evoking, action driven, step by step guidance to explore the unique, glorious, and wonderful ocean of your being. Because healing is a multi layered process of getting to know oneself. Become the self empowered empiric researcher by discovering the unique layers of your existence. With your host, Nadine Alma, welcome to the Holistic Healing Hub. Welcome to the Onion Cycles podcast.
Hello, my beloved fellow healing integrating onions. Welcome back to another episode. Thank you so much for tuning in again and presenting me with your trust in this. We are growing together, we are working together, we are sharing a year that is dedicated to getting to know ourselves and a lot of tools that help us along the way to find out how we can dismiss what we deem not fit for our personality anymore, how we can keep and honor what was already there underneath all of these layers, and generally shedding also a light on what those layers are and how we are able to distinguish what is ours and what has been put there for us. As always, I invite you to download your free worksheet. The worksheet contains all the notes of every episode, as well as some exercises. Now, the past 4 episodes have been rather deep and intense, I'd say. Not that any other episode hasn't been intense and hasn't been inviting you to step up, roll up your sleeves, and get in there and do the work, as you know by now, probably. And for all of you new there, you will know now that this podcast is dedicated to as I think, so I feel, so I act. Therefore, in the action lies the magic. That is where the true healing, the true growth lies hidden. So the past 4 episodes have been dedicated to an enormous amount of doing. We went through our beliefs, we discovered how they make up our identity, and we discovered how we deal with relationships and how we act in them, how others act toward us, where the power really lies within us, only within us, and knowing that love is the oxygen of the soul, meaning that in love we can trust, in love lies the answer, and that love is not conditional, that love isn't restricted to our few beloved people, but is an art form. What I wanted to say with this introduction is that all of these 3 episodes, meaning beliefs, identity, and relationship, have sort of accumulated the 4th episode, which was about grief. And the reason why that is as soon as we start working on ourselves, we start to change. And with change comes change in every aspect. In the aspect of ourselves, sides of us, personalities within us, even the voices in our head, how we act towards others, how we feel within ourselves. And that naturally then emanates outwards and sort of bleeds into our relationships and then changes them as well. So I personally felt that grief was a very appropriate topic to deal with, because as soon as we start to work on ourselves and as soon as we start changing our internal life, then the outside changes as well. And with all of that change comes a lot of shedding of skin like a snake, shedding of layers like an onion, and down to the core to then reestablish, what do we really want to be? What do we want to keep? Which layers do we want to put back on? How have we treated the layers that are there? Why are they there? With that grief, it's important to understand that you can grieve anything, and there is no reason to compare. If you feel drawn to the topic grief, if you feel called to after this episode, you're welcome to listen to episode 41, Grief, and go really through and deep in there, because the path of working on yourself is plastered with grief, with the stages of grief, of different things. That can be a side of you that you really like, that you find somehow doesn't fit your personality anymore. A dear friend of mine, for example, she was the life of the party, so to speak. Always, has always been. And she always made sure everyone was comfortable, everyone was feeling like they are the one for her in the moment. She spends time with them. And then suddenly she realized that she didn't feel comfortable in the middle of any party anymore. It was just a certain crowd of people that could have made her feel welcome, that could bring that out of her, bring that light out of her. So she had to shed the layer that was on her, that made her the life of the party, and that actually was masking something underneath. And so that happened with a side of her. That can also be someone else in your life that suddenly says, oh, you are not who you used to be, because you say no to them, for example, or because you speak your truth, for example. That can be very painful, that can be very hurtful, and thus grief is a topic that simply can't be just distributed to you in a neat, concise episode. That is a whole different spectrum to discover about you, how you grieve. Yes, there are 5, or like we discovered last week, 6 stages, generally speaking, but how you deal with them, how you go through them, and how fast or slow, what fast and slow means to you, that is so personal. So as always, I encourage you to discover yourself, discover your own truth, discover your own path with grief as well. Now in this story 40, episode 42, we are doing a meditation. Or rather, I invite you to join me in a meditation that is dedicated to the layers of grief. My aim with this meditation is for you to have a tool to come back to whenever you feel like you have found out what it is actually that you're grieving right now. And then go through this meditation, and we are going through the stages together, and in the end are able to maybe have a different perspective on it, and a objective perspective on it, maybe even entering the stage of creation already after coming out of the meditation. And at the end of the meditation, there is a story I want to read to you. I found that the other day on Instagram, and I felt quite moved and touched and also soothed, if that makes sense. The material comes from Alison Nappa, and I found it on the site on Instagram called @omology. I will link that down below. It's a lovely short story that I think closes up the chapter really lovely, and then also is able to lift this inner critic, this maybe even inner turmoil that sometimes leads to more horror than joy for life. All right, my loves, with that said, I invite you now to give yourself some space. Bring yourself into a comfortable position, and it doesn't matter if it's seated cross-legged on the floor, on a sofa, if it's lying down because you just feel like it. Just make yourself as comfortable as possible. Have a cushion underneath your head, a cushion underneath your knees. Have a hot water bottle, a blanket, candles, some incense. Whatever it is that makes you feel like you can totally be in the moment, be in the now, and come into your body and just be. I invite you to take 3 deep breaths with me once you're settled. We're gonna inhale for 4 counts, hold it for 4 counts, exhale for 4 counts, hold it again, and repeat that 3 times. There's nothing you need to do. I will do the counting. Just follow along with the breathing and come into your heart center. Totally feel your body. Wherever your mind goes, let it wander, meandering through your thoughts. That's all right. Just come back to your breathing. Come back to your body. Feel from your toes to your head. Everything. Really be with yourself and gift yourself this full attention and appreciation of who you are, who you're becoming to be, the time you decided today to spend with yourself, for yourself. And we're going to start inhaling on a count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. Inhale. Hold. And exhale, letting it all go. And hold. And inhale on your own count now. Getting back to a natural rhythm. Feeling totally at home in your body. Absolutely at peace. And while you're there within yourself, while you're there exploring where in your body you feel what, while you're there breathing deeply and into your heart, I now invite you to consider the first thing that comes to your mind that gives you grief. Any situation, any person, any experience you have had that comes to mind now. Just be with it for a second. Picture the surroundings, the smells, colors, the places, the people. Picture how you felt in your body at that time, right before it happened. What were you doing? What were you wearing? What happened? And whatever feeling that comes up, just let it flow through you. You are not the emotion. Who are you resting on whatever surface you're resting right now? Breathing deeply, breathing into your heart, letting the emotions flow through you. Let the tears come. Let the anger make you hot inside. And then breathe into it and relax again. And if no emotion comes up, go Go into the situation again. Picture it. And then recover what you have suppressed. If the anger, the frustration, the anxiety, the fury, the sadness, the resentment comes up, wherever you feel the tension, breathe into it. You are not the emotion. You are an eternal being living this human experience. And there's something to see there. There is something to grieve there. There is something that wants to be born. Breathe in and let it all go. Now that you felt these emotions, have you been able to let them go? Have you been able to look deeper? And if not, that's absolutely fine. Whatever you're going through is the way it's supposed to be. Grief is a loss, a change we didn't want, a change we didn't expect. It's unique to each and every one of us. It's not always linear. It's about burning something and finding the strength through the journey to realize that out of it can always be born something new. It's about feeling for yourself, being with yourself. The most beautiful people we know have known defeat, suffering, pain, struggle, and loss. And they have found their way back from the depths. And that is what you're doing right now. You courageous, wonderful, beautiful being. You're facing it. You're not letting it linger like bile within yourself, like an open wound. You're looking at it. You're caring for it. You're freeing it up so that it can heal, so that new skin can integrate itself, make yourself whole again. Everything you need is within yourself, already, right there. Feeling for yourself, accepting and appreciating everything that you are, seeing, truly seeing yourself. Be your dearest friend. Be the love of your life. You don't always have to be happy with who you are to love yourself. You just love. And when the sorrow and the despair, the depression, the sadness come, withdraw you from the world, withdraw you from yourself and from your inner core. Breathe into your body. Give it oxygen, life force, remembering who you are, what you have been through already. This will never mark the end. That life always finds a way to go on. That no matter how painful it is now, you will emerge. You will shed what no longer belongs to you, what no longer serves you, to make space for something absolutely amazing, something special, something meant for you, something that needs space that you, through this work, through grieving, are opening up to be there. with every breath that you take, you suddenly feel that lightness come in. Picturing a feather in the wind, of a light ocean breeze dancing. Swirling, circling, like a child on tiptoes. Jumping around as though there's no weight on the world on them. As though life is just this beautiful kaleidoscope of different experiences. And you're in the middle of it with every chance to make it your own. Just a decision away, right there for you to grasp. A lightness that opens up the chest, that makes your heart pound faster, that makes you feel so much warmth and being held and so much safety, unconditional, eternal safety, right there within you, in your core, emanating out of you, pouring into every cell of your body, warmth, grace, and beauty, freedom, lightness, joy. With that seed that you can almost feel within, spreading, accepting that life goes on, that you can revisit all of these stages, that nothing is carved in stone, because you decide what you want to carve next. You decide how your unique process is going to be, but you're not getting stuck. You're freeing yourself from the perception that you ever were stuck. You're freeing yourself from all prescribed notions that anyone else but you know best. You feel within you that freedom to rise up, that affirmation, it wasn't for nothing. I am not who I was. My life is not what it was, and I can't and I won't go back to any of it. You create a new sense of being, a new life, new values. You feel growth happening. We always have everything within us to control the internal world. And you can feel that lightness, like a candle, suddenly burning, a darkness flickering in a light breeze, giving off warmth, hope, and a deep, deep knowledge that this is how it's supposed to be. You're exactly where you're meant to be. Life is happening for you, not to you. And you have everything you need already within you. Let that warmth, that warm glow fill you up fully, like a blanket, like a warm shower from head to toes. Breathe into that warmth. exhale, letting go. Once again, breathe in that warmth, that knowledge of creation around the corner, and let it all go and come back into your body. Feel that sense of warmth, that sense of letting go, that sense of freeing yourself. Love is the oxygen of the soul. That warmth, that hope, that freedom is love. The love that lies within you, that love that is the core of your being. Give yourself the freedom to revisit that love whenever you need it. Give yourself permission to bathe in that warmth, in that love, whenever you need it. Give yourself permission to be and admire the beauty that comes with existence. Another deep, deep breath. Fill yourself up and let it all go. Now we will spend 3 minutes in silence, slowly detaching ourselves from our own experience, coming back into our bodies with deep breathing. You may move, wiggle your fingers, stretch, but just stay where you are for the time being. Move in whatever way you feel need to be done, but stay where you are. Come back slowly and enjoy the story I will read to you. By Alison Nappa. I wouldn't recommend the pursuit of consciousness to anyone. I would not have chosen it for myself. I didn't, it chose me. If it hasn't called your number yet, don't worry, it will eventually. It will draft you from your small life and make impossible demands. You will say no. You will say it can't be done. You will say, I don't want to. And it will laugh at your naivety. It will speak to you in symbols, a language you don't know. It will shake the stable earth. It will break your mirrors and douse your life with gasoline. It will light your spirit on fire. You will die and give birth to yourself in the same instant, again and again. You will remember that Shakespeare was right. All the world is a stage. You will wonder why you've been playing so small a part. For an instant, you will be ecstatic. You will attempt to embrace your epic proportions, and then the phone will ring and you will collapse back into your tiny character, hopelessly. You will question your sanity constantly. You will conclude that you are crazy, then correct, then crazy, then brilliant, and then crazy. You will remember you are God experiencing, and then you will remember you are Sally or Jane or Joe, weeping, screaming, slaving. You will ask yourself again if you are delusional. You will wonder why God has bad credit, narcissistic relationships, or a desk job he hates. You'll wonder what kind of cruel joke this world is and yearn for a home you can only remember by feel. Fuzzy, glowing, golden, drenched in light. You'll find gratitude for your suffering. You will also realize that suffering has no value. Out of your wailing, flailing despair, you will realize that your love has been inverted. You will see that you contain all opposites and spend many years trying to figure out which one is true and snuff out the one you believe to be a lie. You will try to murder yourself and fail. You will change your mind and reverse your strategy. And again, this tactic is a pendulum shaped like an axe that swings wild and wide. This is how you will die the death of 1,000 cuts. When you grow bored of bleeding out, you will decide you are great enough to contain all opposites. You will attempt to love them equally, but you won't. You will conclude that good and evil is an opinion. You will begin to question how your opinions have developed. You will keep some and discard others. You will reason that if the same intelligence that holds the cosmos together, that keeps the sun at perfect distance, that spins the earth, is present in all things, then maybe, just maybe, even this is something perfect. It's horror and it's ecstasy. Don't buy the fairy tales written by wealthy gurus recycling from each other. They have too much to gain from selling you something that cannot be owned. If you buy it, all you will get for your trouble is a broken heart. It will make you feel you are wrongly put together, broken, because your own journey is not like the escalator ride up the mountainside that they've promised you. Not even with all your meditation, yoga, or group chanting. The art of becoming conscious is like any other art. You must find your medium, your talent, and your unique approach to expressing the themes that move and torment you the most. Finally, you must grow the presence and courage to claim your impossible dreams. Doing this will take mastery over the forces of density and duality, mastery over your many faces, the thoughts that burn you at the stake, your own terror. No, I wouldn't recommend the pursuit of consciousness to anybody. But should you find yourself pursued, there are a few things you should remember. You can't outrun it, because even though it may announce your number through seemingly external circumstances, the motor of consciousness is inside you, and it will pull every curtain in your life down if you refuse to submit. There is no map, so don't buy yours secondhand. The gurus can't save you. The career can't save you. The relationship can't save you. You will only find your way one step at a time. Listen to others if you want and learn. But don't make the mistake of thinking they know the way home. If they did, they would be there by now. And while you're at it, there is no there. You don't know who you are. Where you've come from is unknown. Where you're going is mysterious. What your soul commands of you can only be found within you. No one else knows what you are here to do. And for now, here is all there is. I thank you, my beloved fellow healing integrating onions, for the joy of your company. This episode has been very special to me, and I do hope it is of service to you. And I hope to see you next time. All the very best from my heart straight to yours. Love and light. All that you need and a pinch of what you want. My beloved fellow healing onions.